All right, let's talk about something that pretty much powers the entire digital world you use every day, even if you've never heard of it. We're diving into semi-structured data. Now, I know it sounds a little intimidating, but trust me, by the end of this, you're going to see it absolutely everywhere.
Okay, so before we can really get what semi-structured data is, we have to look at the two extremes of the data world. On one end, you've got structured data. Just picture a perfect spreadsheet. Neat rows, neat columns, everything has its place. And on the complete other end, unstructured data. This is like your computer's downloads folder, a total mess of random notes, pictures, videos, all just thrown together with zero organization.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to find that flexible middle ground between all that order and chaos. Then, we'll look at how it's actually built, using formats you definitely see every day. After that, we'll get into why this is a huge deal, using online shopping as our example. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a quick recap. Let's get into it.
So, let's talk about this flexible middle ground. Think of it as the perfect bridge connecting that super organized spreadsheet world with a, total chaos of random files. And this sweet spot, the place that gives you the best of both worlds, well, that's exactly where semi-structured data hangs out.
At its heart, semi-structured data is actually really simple. It doesn't force you into those rigid tables, but it's not a complete free-for-all either. What it does is use these little clues, like tags or things called key-value pairs, to give itself some organization. This makes it super flexible, but still really easy for computers to read and make sense of.
Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine you're taking notes. If you just scribble everything down randomly, that's unstructured, right? But what if you use headings for different topics, maybe some bullet points, and highlight the important words? Now you've given it some order. Your notes aren't a strict spreadsheet, but those little tags and headings create a structure that's actually useful.
So, how does this actually work in the real world? This isn't just some abstract idea, it's built using some really common languages and formats. Let's take a look at the three big ones that make all this organizational magic happen.
First up, we have JSON. You'll find this stuff all over the web. Its entire system is built on one simple but really powerful idea: key-value pairs. The key is basically the label, and the value is, well, the actual data.
And here's what that looks like in action. You see the key, like name, that's our label. And the value is the info itself, in this case, John Doe. See how clean that is? Name, John Doe. Item, laptop. Price, $1,200. It's super easy for a person to read and incredibly efficient for a computer.
Okay, next up is XML. This one works a little differently. Instead of those key-value pairs, XML uses opening and closing tags that kind of wrap around the data. You can think of them like little descriptive bookends for every piece of info.
For example, you can see right here how tags like item and price surround the actual data. This creates a really clear hierarchy. It's almost like putting your information into neatly labeled, nested folders. Super easy for both people and machines to understand the structure.
And believe it or not, you see this kind of thing all the time. The very foundation of almost every website, HTML, is a type of semi-structured data. It uses tags like H1 for a big headline, or P for a paragraph. That's how it gives web pages their structure. It's what organizes all the content you scroll through every single day.
Okay, I know this might feel a little bit technical, but it has huge, real-world consequences. So let's step away from the code for a minute and look at a perfect real-world example. How an online store uses this powerful data every single day.
Just think about it for a second. Every single time you buy something online, all of that data, your name, the product, the price, it all has to be stored somewhere. And there's a really, really good chance it's being saved in a flexible, semi-structured file like JSON or XML, not some massive, clunky spreadsheet.
And that flexibility? Well, it's basically a business superpower. Because the data is organized but not super rigid, a company can analyze it in all sorts of ways. They can spot sales trends, figure out what's popular, manage their inventory better, and even personalize marketing. It's how they know to show you an ad for something you might actually want.
All right, we have definitely covered a lot of ground. So let's wrap this up and tie everything together with a quick final recap.
This table really just lays it all out perfectly. On one side, you've got the rigid tables of structured data, your spreadsheet. On the total opposite side, the formless chaos of unstructured data. Think of an endless social media feed. And right there, in the middle, is our flexible hero, semi-structured data, using tags and keys to create order, just like we saw with JSON and XML.
And hey, if you remember anything from this whole explainer, let it be these 3 simple ideas. Structured is a spreadsheet. Unstructured is a pile of random notes. And our focus today, semi-structured, is a set of tagged notes, organized, but totally flexible.
So we'll leave you with a question to think about. The next time you're browsing a website, using an app, or getting a personalized recommendation, take a second to think about that hidden data structure working behind the scenes. Because now that you know what you're looking for, you're going to start seeing this flexible middle ground absolutely everywhere.